Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Let us get that sorted. There we go. Welcome back to another stream, people. Hope everyone is doing good. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, finding it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Also, make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat and also the description below. Join discussions, chat with other traders, including myself, join the growing community, and of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders, the firm there, if you're looking for some more information. And of course, you can find discount codes there as well. So if you are looking to get involved, make sure you go check it out. Completely free to join. Link to that in the description and at the top of the chat, so you definitely can't miss it. But guys, welcome back to the stream. Merry Christmas Eve to everyone that celebrates. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, we'll go through the dollar pairs. Any requests, drop it down in the chat. We'll discuss and take a look. But again, probably not going to see much movement today. So we'll focus a bit more on the lower time frames today to see what's going on intraday. In terms of what I'm looking at, I'll share with you guys, of course, and chat about the markets I'm looking at and which I'm currently trading. But of course, probably won't see much movement. So I'll focus more intraday because I would understand anyone looking to trade today, probably focusing more intraday anyway. But we'll start with the DXY and we'll work our way through the USD pairs and then we'll take a look at some of the yen pairs shortly afterwards. But we did finish last week pretty bullish, and that looks like it's creeping into this week, and we could be seeing more upside. Still very bullish dollar, so I'm still expecting more of the same. I was talking about this area of interest last week on the retest of the zone and looking for price to continue from that area. But of course, doesn't look like price is going to retrace there. Maybe at some point we do when momentum picks up. We might see a bigger retracement next week or maybe the week after. At the moment, everything is kind of still very stale and looks like we're slowly picking up pace back to the highs here. Bit of consolidation, might see a breakout maybe by the end of next week, and then potentially there could be some moves back to the high there, 108.485. Because again, if you are looking to trade in today, you're not looking for anything crazy. I think a push back to the high makes a load of sense. Definitely, if you can refine that to like the 50-minute chart. Of course, in euro, we'll touch on that in a moment. But there could be some nice intraday opportunities if price was to break out of this and then look for some pullbacks back into the high. A lot of momentum is pointing to the upside for USD across multiple time frames, monthly chart, weekly chart, daily chart. Looks like we're seeing price remain bullish. And from an intraday level as well, we had a pretty strong move to the upside. So to me, this is like a pause. And I'm looking for price to break out of that and see some more upside back into the high. And if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, let me go to the daily chart. It does look like price is breaking through. Well, it looks like it's breaking through this high, but more importantly, it looks like price is breaking through that high, which for me is the key significant high, which I would expect price to break through. And if we were to push back to the high there, we're looking at a really big move in 2025, which is what I'm expecting. So a lot more strength longer term. We looked at intraday, looks like more upside as well. Of course, brief pause at the moment. But if that was the break to the upside, I would expect price to keep pushing. If we take that information into Euro USD, we can expect probably the same thing and a push back to the lows. I'm still pretty confident we do go and take out the wick low here at 1.03282. I do think that is where price is likely to end up. It looks like we've had a pullback already. We did see a bit of movement on Monday, but not quite enough to come back and retest the low here. That's where I was talking about my weekly analysis. It'd be great if price was to come back and retest that low and see some shorts off the back of that area. As you can see, we've got one high over there, second low, second lower high, next lower low. So I was looking for the third test there for the lower high and some shorts. However, I mean, again, we could still come back to retest the same as dollar. We could still come back for a deeper correction when momentum picks up. Still could see dollar make that move to the upside, double top that and then drop. So that's still something to look for. But again, a bit more intraday because we are kind of flat here. If price was to break through the low here, there could be some really nice shorts on the break retest and look to ride that back into this swing low, which is at 1.035. And of course, we've got that wick there just below us, which is what I would expect price to go and eventually take out. But again, if you can get pushed back to the low, you're looking good. No need to try and force anything. You can always leave positions to run if you want to. But yeah, with Euro USD still pretty bearish to me. Really strong drop there on Wednesday last week after the Fed interest rate. So that really does point the direction, because it's going to be very difficult for us to suddenly push all the way to the upside. Excuse me. And reverse all that momentum. Is going to take a lot of bullish momentum for us to completely reverse that. So in the meantime, as long as we stay bearish, especially from an intraday point of view, I think shorts is the best way forward, break and retest, and looking at more downside. So Euro USD, keep an eye for some shorts. Either we have the bigger pullback into 1.04600, or price kind of just steadily rolls over. Either way, I do expect more downside there. For pound USD, it's a similar situation as well. Again, I do expect more downside, still very bullish on USD. So markets like pound USD, I'm always going to be expecting downside when I have such a strong bias in dollar. And then if I expand to the daily chart, there is a pretty nice swing low just below us here at 1.235. So that's kind of where I'm expecting price to end up. But first, I do want us to see a strong break through this low. And once that happens, I do think some intraday shorts will be looking good. And of course, we can look for some pullbacks off that. If I drop to the hourly chart, strong break of this low, and then look for some pullbacks, retest the high, and then of course you got some nice shorts there. I'm not too sure about taking the break of this. I know it's kind of similar to Euro in terms of the consolidation. Might see a strong break of that, pullbacks, and then some more shorts. But however, we're coming back into some major support, so I wouldn't want to take that type of opportunity. Euro USD, the path is a lot clearer, so I'd rather wait for breakouts on that and look for more opportunity to the downside. Whereas pound, I'd wait for price to really break through this 4-hour support, and then I think the shorts will look a lot better. We've been very, very consistent with these lower highs, as we can see, so it's a sign that we could expect more, and if we break through the low there, there's a good chance we will see more. Dollar CAD, I really like this one. It's a pair on my watch list. It's a pair I'm looking at, but I need to see a very big pullback before I do get any longs. This is the area I'm looking to buy from, 1.415. Yeah, at the moment, price is nowhere near a pullback into that area. It's nice confluence. We've got the 0.618 running through that same zone as well. So it would be great for a pullback into that area, but I do not see that happening anytime soon. Again, it potentially might pick up when momentum picks up. We might see that bigger pullback, so I'll keep a close eye on that. I'm not really interested in buy opportunities up there. I'm looking for the bigger pullbacks because we've already had a really strong breakout. Expand to the weekly chart, really strong breakout. So I'm waiting for that bigger pullback so I can catch the bigger move. Yeah, that's the idea. If we can have some healthy corrective pullbacks, you'll probably see some bigger moves after that. Shallow pullbacks, you're only looking for more so shallow moves. In general. But yeah, that's kind of where my interest is for dollar CAD from a 4-hour perspective. Intraday is kind of a bit flat. But I think if you're looking for some longs, this is a nice place for it. Another spike to the downside like we did on these two prior occasions. One over there, second over there, potentially a third. And then again, expecting another bounce to the upside. I think this is a nice place to be looking for some longs. If you can get some wicks in this area, I think that looks like a nice buy, even if it is just to play the range. So something like that, back to 1.44322. Play the range, see what price is giving you, but overall, I do think more upside is still the bet to play here, especially if USD is going to be strong. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream, Ahmed. Welcome, Sam. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of consolidation, to be fair. Yeah, there's not gonna be a lot of volume. Yeah, until the new year. We won't pick up probably until, I mean, we do sometimes see a bit of movement between Christmas and New Year's, so that little period there, but it might be, I mean, until everything back in full flow. Yeah, you are correct, until the new year. But sometimes you do see a bit of movement, but of course it won't really heat up until the new year. But dollar CAD, that's kind of what I'm looking for. If you get the deeper correction, 1.418 looks good. If not, then probably looking at a shorter move back and then a push back up again. In terms of Aussie dollar, similar situation with these guys, still very bearish. I think we've got mainly consolidation right now, which makes sense because it It is Christmas Eve. But I do think we can see a push back to the wick lows here and probably go and take them out as well. I did say I would be looking at pullbacks back into this area here roughly, and I think that still looks like a good area. You can see the very consistent lower highs price is making. So one over there, second, third, fourth, fifth. Again, looking at that next one and then the next drop to the downside, but it's a situation where we might not get that until the new year, as we mentioned. On a more intraday level, I think it looks still a little bit tricky to trade. I'll probably treat this similar to dollar CAD in terms of just looking for a spike back to the high. So something like this, and a spike back into this area, and then looking for some shorts at the high there. Now, this is not necessarily a massive pullback. I'm not expecting the market to completely drop from this, although it could. But I think from an intraday level, it makes sense back into resistance, see some nice spikes from that area. There's a good chance we do spike from that area and see some downside. And if you can trade it back into the lows here for these wicks, I think that'll be a really nice trade, book some profits. Maybe you get a situation where you can leave some to trail back to the low. But overall, I do think shorts look good. What's up, the high elf? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. But yeah, Aussie dollars still expecting more downside, very bearish with these USD majors, of course, being very bullish on USD tends to make that my bias. But New Zealand dollar, similar situation as well. This is the hourly chart too. I would say some shorts back at the high then make a load of sense. Push back into 0.56664 and may see a continuation of that. On a higher time frame perspective, I'm still looking at a bit big of a pullback back into this area. Maybe this area if we're lucky as well. 0.58, 0.57591. Those would be healthier pullbacks, healthier areas to short from, because the market would have at least contracted a little bit because it's been falling for quite some time now. So the market is still pretty stretched to the downside. So I do expect a bit of a relief, bit of a breather, and that would be coming back to retest some of these areas before continuing. So that's really my thinking with New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar as well. Bigger pullbacks, more downside. But because volume's low, we might just see pullbacks into these areas react and see some downside. We might not have enough bullish pressure to break through and see some upside. So shorts around those areas make the most sense. But if I expand to the higher time frames, I do expect price to keep falling. I'm still looking for this wick low to be taken out there for New Zealand dollar. I do think that's still the bigger move. So if we do see some upside, expecting a low high to form, it'd be nice to retest this low here and find some shorts off the back of that. But again, it will take quite a lot of volume for us to get there, which we may not see for a while. But I do think price is still likely to keep falling. So shorts is the only thing I'm after. In terms of gold, it's been pretty bearish on this one, looking for more downside. We did have a nice reaction off this area, which we were talking about yesterday. Price hasn't really got going. Maybe if this was a different time of the year, we might have seen a cleaner move, but we did see price start pretty bearish off reacting that area. Now it's kind of flattened out a little bit. So again, I would say if price was to push back into that same zone, there could be some nice shorts around 26.30 to take it back down again. I think this is a really nice place for a short, and we might see price just go pinch the high there, test that zone again, and then get the drop, kind of a 1, 2, 3, and then we get the big sell. That sort of pattern could look to form there. But in terms of the direction, still pretty bearish on gold. Of course, USD being strong kind of helps with that. But on a daily chart, we had a really aggressive double top up here. It looks like we're having a breaking test of this zone, really strong support, a lot of wicks into that zone. Now looking to put the wicks in the opposite direction means that the level's holding the resistance. And there's a good chance we do get a sell back into this low. So that's still the thinking with gold, looking at pullbacks, retest into that zone. And there could be some nice intraday shorts around 26.35 to get involved and see some downside. And in terms of silver, I'm looking for something similar as well. I talked about this area, nice place for a correction into. And I think that's still a nice place. I know the market's a little bit sideways now, struggling at this high, but I think if we were to break to the upside, because there will be some early sellers getting involved in the market, more or less situated above the high here. I think if we were pushed back into this area, I think that's a sensible place to be looking for some shorts. and possibly see another move to the downside there. So overall, with silver still very bearish, still looking at more downside. USD still looks very strong. I do think we can keep falling there. Of course, longer term, still very bullish on the dollar. Still very bullish on the dollar. Still looking for, not the dollar, sorry. Still very bullish on silver. Still looking for a push back into 35, although I am bullish on the dollar too, but very bullish on silver, very bullish on gold longer term. It just, bullish setups haven't quite presented themselves just yet. So I have to be patient for that. Everything kind of still looks bearish right now. Ahmed, what is up? Okay, I'll take a look at gold. I don't know. Did you catch gold? Let me know if you caught gold. I can go over it quickly. What's up, CS Integrated? Good morning. Hope you are doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I just literally went through gold, so pretty sure you would have caught it. Okay, I'll continue going through a couple more of the USD pairs, but so yeah, USD CHF. This one's not too bad actually. This one's still pushing up pretty well. It looks like we might be seeing a push back to the high of the range because we've got equal highs over there, equal lows down here. So more or less, the market is flat on a larger scale, but it looks to me that we've rebounded off the low and potentially we're seeing a nice trend back to the high. Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it, because I wouldn't be looking for any major turns or any major reversals in the middle of a range. That's a big no-no for me. If I'm looking to get involved, it's because prices are either at the high or at the low, and I'm looking to try and take advantage of that. So at the moment, dollar CHF with this pretty nice uptrend, and again, USD being strong helps with that. We could see price take us all the way back to 0.92 and maybe beyond that as well. So for dollar CHF, I would be focused on the buys. I remember last week I was talking about some buys on the retest of the high here. I said if we can get a bigger breakout, there could be some nice breaking retest. Kind of hasn't done its job really. I mean, sort of broken underneath, so it hasn't been clean. But if we were to push a little bit further, I think some pullbacks will look a lot cleaner, and we can get much better breaking retest of that zone there. But as you can see, we've been very consistent with these higher lows, and I would imagine that is likely to continue. You've got a first test there of the trend line. You've got a second test over there. Of course, a bit of a third test, but a bit of a fake out at the same time as well. And it looks like we're back above that trend line. Could be looking at that third/fourth test and the continuation of the retest of that high there as well. So still pretty bullish on dollar CHF. It looks like we're pushing back to the high of the range. You got massive resistance up at the high there, so that's what I'm expecting price to push into. And pullbacks make the most sense. Still a little bit choppy. We'll see how things develop. I think from an intraday point of view, not much to do really with dollar CHF. I wouldn't really be looking to buy or almost. Oh, didn't mean to do that. We're almost coming back into the high, which is over here. So yeah, a bit tricky to get involved with. Risk reward looks a little bit tight, so I wouldn't say there's much to do there with dollar CHF on the intraday level. But from a swing perspective, of course, it will take some time to develop. But I think the break and retest of that high look good. Find some positions there and see if you can take it back to the high. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at for dollar CHF. CC integrated 0.90600. Okay, so you're looking for a move back to the high over here somewhere. So yeah, that looks likely as well. I think dollar CHF is likely to keep pushing. I do think more upside is likely. I'm still very bullish on the dollar, so that helps as well. And yeah, I do think price is going to continue. It's only a little bit difficult for me to in terms of finding some buys because we're close to this high here. Preferably, I'd like price a little bit lower, so there isn't such a small gap between current price and the high there. But then it depends which time frames you're looking to enter, because if you drop right down, you can still make use of that. But yeah, I do think more upside is likely. And I would agree, 0.906 looks like a likely place price to get to. And I would imagine 0.2 would be a likely price can get to as well if we're looking at that longer term move. So yeah, definitely agree with that one. Natural gas. Okay, we'll take a look at that one as well for you. We took a look at this one yesterday, didn't we? Ooh, had a really big sell. Okay, so we did end up going and fill that gap. Um, so yeah, this is interesting because we did get a nice gap fill there, but we did sell off pretty aggressively. And why it is interesting is because we just took out a significant high. So I'm wondering to myself, is this price getting ready to change direction? Or is it just retracing for it to continue pushing up? Because it's broken out of a key area, and this could be a big breakout for price to keep trending to the upside. But I do think the bigger move for natural gas is still a big sell to the downside at some point. It just, for me, depends how far we push up first before we do get that sell. It could have really been starting with that move yesterday, or it might still want to push up. So at the moment, still need a bit more information in terms of the biggest swing of what I'm expecting. Whether we are turning around here, or we're going to continue a little bit further. I need a bit more information there. From an intraday standpoint, there could be some nice buys with this one because although we had a big sell, price is still respecting some areas of demand there. We haven't really broken any structure. This low still looks pretty intact as well. So I would say some buys look good if we were to start breaking through resistance again. Bit of a consolidation there. If we were to pick up some momentum, strong break to the upside, might be another nice buy opportunity there with these higher lows. One over there, second over there, potentially third, connecting the dots, and hopefully another high low and a push back to the highs, back to where we came from. Now that we have filled the gap, we've done that job. Yeah, that box is ticked. Now we can potentially continue the trend if price wants to. Like I said, I do expect eventually price to turn around and have really big sell. Point out some areas on the daily/weekly chart which we can get to. Some highs up there. It's more weekly, to be fair. Before I do expect kind of a continuation of that big bearish move, so that's why I'm pretty bearish. But for now, everything intraday looks pretty bullish to me. So if you're looking at trading natural gas intraday, I would say some breaks of the high look good, pullbacks, and yeah, push back into the 3.9. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with natural gas. Hopefully that made sense. But yeah, definitely continue to push. If we can push this through the high, could be some nice pullbacks and retests to go long. Gordon, what is up? Happy Xmas Eve to you as well. Hope you're doing good. Okay, Ahmed, we'll take a look at the DAX for you. No problem. Hi, Elf, what is up? Hope you're doing well. Okay, energy costs are going through the roof. Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, from a fundamental perspective, you can always add that as a healthy confidence for your trades. But yeah, I think from an intraday point of view, it does look bullish still. I think fundamentally, if that's the case, it would be bullish as well. I do think longer term, though, when we start hitting some of these prices here, I do think we'll start to turn around as we keep providing these big spikes. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll cross that bridge. But at the moment, if you're looking at intraday opportunities, I would like the buys. Okay, so I'll take a look at the DAX. Bless one. Okay, I'll go through Euro USD as well. So the DAX, last time we had a look at this one, things were looking pretty bullish. Looks like we had a nice retest of that same area. We spoke about this last week. I wasn't expecting such a big pullback into this zone, to be honest, in the retest. In fact, let me go take a look at the other one. Yeah, cleaner. So I wasn't expecting such a big pullback. Well, we did get one last week, of course, after the interest rates or the indices pretty much plummeted together, and the DAX was looking pretty bearish at the time. But come back into some nice bullish confluence, retesting the 0.5 pretty much to a dime there. Sat in it very nicely. Strong bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour, retesting such strong resistance, taking our support there as well. We had a nice reaction. Now we'll come a little bit stale, maybe as we come into the festive period. But this, to me, still looks like a correction for price to potentially, get going again and see the next wave. So I would be looking at something like this in the next few days for the DAX. Maybe a push back into this area. Maybe we still do have some more downside in us. That still could be the case, but judging price action here, it's kind of like a big V-shaped pattern, impulse down, impulse back up, and this looks like the correction to me. So I do think DAX is likely to break to the upside. I would watch out for 20,050. This is an area where we could still sell off. Maybe this is a bigger move for a bigger correction and then still another sell. So I'd watch out for that as we push back to the high. But yeah, judging on the characteristics of price, very impulsive move, now very corrective move, I do think we'll see another continuation to the upside. So we've got high time frames backing us with the retest of that zone. Lovely impulse down the daily chart, healthy pullback into 0.5 and retesting the high, strong rejection. Now we're seeing some characteristics on the low charts that suggest the market is likely to keep pushing as well. So in terms of entries, that's where it becomes a little bit tricky. You can wait for trend line breaks. That could be a nice way to get involved. Let's say, for example, we see a strong candle close above the high. Maybe today's not the best day to enter the trade either. Maybe if you're looking for a quicker trade, potentially. But a move like that back to the high probably will take a couple of days to get going. And tomorrow's Christmas, markets will be closed. Not too sure if you want to hold an intraday position overnight. Yeah, you probably want to open and close it within the day. So probably not the best time, but then again, we might not see the breakout happen. But maybe later, after Christmas or maybe early next week, might see momentum pick up again. They can look for some entries to take it back into the high. But that is what I'm expecting for the DAX. And maybe another sell. We'll judge that when we get to there. In terms of Euro USD, let's go take a look at that one. So yeah, Euro, I am looking at a lot more downside. I did talk about a retest of this zone here early this week. We've got some really nice lower highs forming, 1, 2, and looking at the third one here. I mean, we may have already formed it with this pullback, but it just missed on my area of confidence. So I'm looking to see maybe if Euro push up one more time and then get the sell. Or from an intraday level, we might kind of just break out of this consolidation and continue to the downside. So it depends what you're looking for. Bigger pullback is still there. Better risk reward if you can get the shorts up there, of course. This situation, you probably want to drop a bit more intraday if you're looking for some entries just to make sure your risk reward is sufficient. And of course, a push back to the lows there make a load of sense. I do think this wick low here on the 4 hour is likely to be taken out. I think overall momentum is still pretty bearish and we're likely to keep selling off. So I'm pretty bearish on Euro, pretty bullish on USD as well. So I do think we're going to see more upside for dollar, more downside for Euro. It's just about timing and finding the best entries for that. I would suggest the break of that consolidation and some shorts outside of that will look good. But I also like this area here as well. So I'll keep an eye on both of those. But yeah, definitely pretty bearish on Euro USD for now. Hey, what is up, Nanad? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. Welcome. Hope everyone is doing good today. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Euro USD. In terms of the dollar, as I said, still very bullish on this one, still looking at more upside. I do still like the bigger pullback for this one back into 107.2. That's still my keen area of interest on the 4 hour chart. But it's going to take some time for us to get there. We're going to need a bit of a push. And again, we might not see it happen until the new year or at all, really. If the market is going to be very bullish, we might not see that bigger pullback period. It might just keep pushing. I mean, we already had a bit of a pullback now and a bit of a drop down Friday. What was that? When was that? Yeah, Friday. Now we've pushed up a little bit Monday, Tuesday, not much there. We are consolidating on the lower time frames. So again, similar to Euro, we might just break out this range and get on our way back to the high. So let's see if we go through that bigger pullback, retest 107.100, or we just be on our way and continue flying. But either which way, I would be favoring bullish opportunities. I do think more upside is likely to happen there. So yeah, USD, very bullish bias for now. So all the USD majors, Euro down, Pound down, Dollar CAD up, of course. That's kind of what I'm looking at. No problem, Ahmed. Happy to help. Short opportunity, dollar yen. Okay, I'll take a look at that. I'm pretty bullish on dollar yen, but there might be some short-term downside, so we'll take a look at that. Bless one, no problem. Happy to help. Have a great holiday to you as well. Appreciate it. So yeah, for dollar yen, we'll take a look at that for a short opportunity. So yeah, I'm very bullish on dollar yen. Well, I keep saying that. I am bullish on dollar, and I am also very bullish on dollar yen. I'm looking for a push back to the highs here at 161, 162. After we got that significant break of structure last week. So my plan of action is looking for pullbacks and some more upside. I'll get to the shorts in a moment. I'm just showing you why I'm so bullish on dollar yen, at least long term, anyways, because we've had a really big break and retest of the zone, resistance turns support. Price is taking out the highs there. So the next logical place for price to get to is now back at that high. It doesn't look like we're getting the continuation of that momentum from July. And now it looks like we are forming higher lows as well. So the plan I have for dollar yen is still very much looking for pullbacks. If I whip out the fib from the low here to the high, I've got some really nice confluence down at this area for some longs and for some buys. So this is the swing opportunity I'm looking at for dollar yen, which if it does pan out, I need to move to the downside in the first place. So there could be some shorts on the way down before the big buy. We'll discuss that in a moment, but really for me, this is the only move I'm focused on. It'd be nice if you can tag the 50 as well. That'd be a really nice confluence there as well. Tag that zone too, and then hopefully find some nice buys to take it back into 162 or at least back into the high here. But overall, very bullish on dollar yen. But like I said, if I am going to get this buy opportunity down here, there has to be a sell to that level, and that sell could be taken advantage of. Um, in terms of shorts, if I was going to look to short this one, I would at least wait for price to start breaking back below that low, and at least start to put some lower highs in. We've got a higher high over there. This could be a higher low. Ooh, missed it completely. This could be a higher low. We don't know yet. Price could still shoot off to the upside and break the highs. If we do that, we've got a higher high, and then you're just going to expect that to form. So what I would say if I was looking for shorts for dollar yen would be a strong break of the low here, break structure, of course. We'll be back below that high there as well, which would be great. And then I can look for some retests, a lower high to form, and look for that third lower high in that bearish sequence. So you've got one over there, second over there, third. And not only are we breaking structure, we're also underneath that low. So it might even see a retest of that same area there too. So overall, very bearish on dollar yen, looking for some more downside. We've got some lovely lower highs potentially developing. And of course, that would be great for me because we could get a nice drop off. And then I can talk about some buys taking it back up again. But I wouldn't say it's quite ready yet. Like I said, this area here could still be a higher low as we can still break to the upside. So that will completely invalidate the shorts. But overall, I do think more downside is going to keep going push. And we probably are going to take out the lows there. So yeah, dollar yen, maybe some shorts, and potentially we could see more upside. But overall, I would be very careful about the downside move there because I do think it's going against the trend a little bit. And again, there's nothing necessarily going wrong and go against the trend, but you just need to take that into consideration. Okay, so we'll go through in that buy position tax. Hold on. Well, okay, nice. Market will be slow. I don't like it. Okay, will you look to hold it through Christmas? Morgan, what is up? Yeah, I mean, I would be looking to do a new one with my own prop firm because the rules with the challenge I was doing, once I do pass the challenge, I don't think I'll be able to actually trade the live funded account because I am involved with another prop firm. So I don't think I'll be able to actually use that challenge anymore. But since I've got my own one, I'll probably restart it with my own firm. Because otherwise, if I pass the challenge, I don't think I'll be allowed to trade the funded side anyway, based on their rules. However, I'm holding a buy position pound cat. Okay, did you just enter that pound cat position now, Morgan? Okay, looking to hold over Christmas. Nice. I mean, I am trading pound seat chef, and I will look to hold that over Christmas as well. We are seeing a bit of upside at the moment. Seed chef looks pretty weak, and pound looks not really strong. I mean, I don't think pound is strong. I think it's more seed chef just being weak, to be fair. But I do have this position open. My stop loss is break even, so there's no risk on the table. But I'm happy to hold it over Christmas. There is still a big move I'm looking for. So hopefully I can see a really big sell, but it does depend maybe what we do today. Because if we keep pushing, then I don't know, maybe I might close it because I know markets will be slow, but we could see some gaps. I don't know. We might not see gaps because there shouldn't be any crazy moves over Christmas Day, should there? Nah, I don't expect gaps to form. I mean, maybe a little one, maybe, but I don't expect any big ones. So yeah, I'll probably just leave it. To be honest, there's still a bit of distance between price and my entry, so it's not at risk. It's not like I'm in drawdown where a gap could gap above my stop loss, and that can become a bit tricky. So yeah, because of that, I probably will just leave it. I'm looking at a pretty big move as well, so I'm not trying to get in the way of that and take profit too early. We're still very much in a range here, and I'm still looking for price to come back into support before I do look to book profits. I haven't taken any profits yet. My stop loss is still at break even. I said I'll only look to take profits when we come back to the low. We just missed it by a few pips there on Friday last week, so that was unfortunate. We're seeing some upside now, but you can see how pound CHF is moving. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. So it doesn't really kind of, we are going to see this type of price action. The chance of me just seeing one clean move to the low was pretty low anyway. But yeah, hopefully we can mess around and eventually hit my target. I'll book some profits. And if we do get a breakout, fantastic. Then I'll be looking at adding some positions on the retest and hopefully some nice shorts back into the low. And that is very much my plan. Whether we get the breakout, whether that happens, of course, the market is the what's the word? It is in control here. I'm just going to stay patient and ready for my opportunities to come around. So yeah, that's kind of my focus with pound CHF. Morgan. Oh wow. Okay, you'll be holding some buys for 2 weeks. Where did you get in? What price? And what's the plan with that trade as well, Morgan? Are you looking to close it anytime soon? Trading stops? What's the plan? Sarah, what is up? Merry Christmas. Hope you are doing well. Welcome, welcome. Time frames I use for swing trading analysis. Good question. I mean, I use multiple time frames. Yeah, I use multiple time frames, but most of my analysis, I would say 90% does come back to the 4-hour and the daily chart. I look at the major swing points. These are the swing points I keep an eye out, because when you are swing trading, you want to focus on the key turning points of the market, and it depends how long you want to swing trade for. But for me, the daily swing highs and swing lows are the key swings I want to be playing. So with this trade, for example, these are the swing points I'm looking at. So the idea is I'm looking to try and catch the next one. So 1, 2, 3 for the next swing to the downside. So that's the kind of frame I'm looking at. And in terms of analysis, mainly daily and 4-hour. 4-hour I'm using for entries, and daily chart I'm looking at the major swings. Really, I do occasionally look at the weekly, monthly time frames just to address big significant levels, how weekly, monthly candles close can paint a picture, momentum as well. So I do take information from those higher time frames as well, but predominantly the swings I'm looking to try and catch is these type of swings here. And that is the thought process I have with this current trade as well. But yeah, mostly 4-hour and daily. And then 4-hour is just mainly for execution and just kind of refining my risk, really. But yeah, hopefully we can get this to pick up soon. But yeah, it is stuck in a consolidation, so I can't expect too much because yeah, it's in a range. So I need that to break out, and hopefully momentum can pick up again. Ahmed, Mika, could you stop streaming for the remaining days of the year? You want me to stop streaming for the remaining days of the year? Is that what you said? I don't understand. I mean, I won't stream tomorrow because, of course, it's Christmas tomorrow. I probably will stream Boxing Day, and then next week I won't stream New Year's Day. I mean, the markets are closed Christmas and New Year's Day, so there's nothing there. But beforehand, I'm pretty sure the markets are open. Of course, they will be slower. Of course, we're expecting that. Sarah, Do you hold until TP? A bit of both. I do have take profits, but I will trail stops as well. So it's not a situation where I would completely hold a position all the way back to the low, because if I scoot back to the daily chart, you know, if my plan works out, we're looking at a 1 to 9 there. So it's very difficult to hold a position. It's very to hold a position completely from entry all the way to 1 to 9 in one go. So I do trail stops. I do lock in gains as well. So the plan, I mean, it depends what trade I'm looking at, because each trade is different. Some trades I'll just completely trail. Some trades I'll take partials. In this case, because I'm trading in a ranging market in this sense. So the plan is to lock in some gains here, secure some partials. Then after we break out this, then I'll start to look to trail stops on the way down, you know, beneath some lower highs. That's the plan. Maybe I get trailed out. Or maybe we don't even get the breakout. Maybe I lock in some gains and price reverses against me, or maybe we keep pushing up and I walk away break even. But no, very rarely would I hold completely no partials, no trading stops all the way to take profit. I would have some type of insurance policy, because I'm looking for big swings, and the probability of us seeing that big swing and me catching it is quite low. So you want to have things that do allow you to secure some gains along the way. No, yeah, Ahmed, I won't be streaming tomorrow. Godfrey, what is up? Merry Christmas. Hope you're doing good. Cadseed Chef, GR40. Okay, I'll go through them and I'll start going through some yen pairs. So CAD Swiss. So yeah, Cadseed Chef, more consolidation from this one. Not my favorite pair in the world, I must say, but it's doing a pretty good job at holding onto the low of the range. As we can see, 0.62 doing a very good job there. Resistance up here, 0.63, doing a pretty good job at holding onto the high there as well. So with Cadseed Chef, I would say just look to treat this as a range, as because that's what it is. You know, buying at the low, we spoke about 2 buying opportunities when we came back to the low. Both have played out pretty well. Nice bullish engulfing, nice move to the upside, another bullish engulfing there. Nice move to the upside as well. So if we were to push back to the high, I'll be looking at the exact same thing. Retest of the high. Again, looking for a push back down. It doesn't have to be the whole swing. If I draw the fib from the low to the high, 50% is always a healthy place to aim for in a range, because you've got a very high chance price does get to the 50% mark. And it's a great place to look to, you know, take some gains, secure some partials. Then you can always leave the rest to run back to the full length of the range, because sometimes things can get a bit choppy. Sometimes we don't quite make the high. Like, for example, this move here, nice rejection off the low, nice push. We hit the 50% of the range, but we didn't get quite back to the high. So that'll be a little bit annoying. So sometimes securing some gains at the 50 makes a load of sense. But more or less, we are ranging. So I would only focus at the highs and then focus at the lows and take some buys and sells accordingly. I wouldn't want to get involved in the middle. Absolutely not. But yeah, Cadseed Chef, not my favorite market in the world. I know it's bearish overall, but I would like a bigger correction before looking for that bigger swing. In this moment in time, I wouldn't be surprised if we do push up higher and yeah, and have a bit of retracement. But for now, I'll just focus on that range high and range low. And in terms of the DAX, yeah, like I said, with this one, I do expect more downside. More upside, sorry. Everything does look pretty bullish to me. We spoke about this one briefly earlier. But again, really big retracement coming back to retest the high there at 19,700. Lovely bullish engulfing candle. If we drop to the low time frames, you can see lovely impulse there. This looks to me like a correction. So I do think we're probably going to see a move to the upside at this point, back to 20,040. Maybe we do get another sell, because we do have a lot of momentum to the downside. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we do have another sell. But I'm looking at how price is moving. Very strong impulse. Looks like a nice V-shaped pattern. Impulse down, impulse up. Now this here is the correction of that. So now I do expect price to push to the upside. So the DAX as well, I do think we're likely to keep pushing and see some more upside there too. So I'll only be very bullish for the DAX at the moment in time. And maybe we get pushed back to the high. I wouldn't be surprised at that. If I do look at the bigger picture, we are still forming these major high lows, one over there, second, third, potentially fourth there as well. If that's the case, then there's a good chance we do push right back to the high there as well. So yeah, pretty bullish on the DAX as well overall. And yeah, we'll go through some other indices later, but we'll go through some yen pairs next. So yeah, we'll go through CAD yen and the other yen pairs together. So yeah, CAD yen was trading this a while ago, but I did close the position last week in expectation of more upside, and I still think that is really the possibility now. If price does correct to the downside, which I expect it to do, looks like we are having that kind of slow move. There are two places where I said buys look good. Either the retest of this high here, or if we have a deeper correction back into this range here. Really nice range, stayed there for a few hours, really strong break to the upside, of course, after the interest rates, but a healthy place for a buy and a nice place to look to get involved if I drop to the lower charts. So again, if I'm looking at this on the hourly time frame, I would suggest some pullbacks into that same area, a retest of this low and a push back to the high. And if we were to have a bigger pullback, then a retest of this range would look good. Probably find the next high low in that trend line test as well. Some nice added confluence. And again, looking for that high low for a push back to the highs. So yeah, CAD yen, as I spoke a lot about yesterday, I'm very bullish on the yen pairs intraday. I do think we'll keep pushing. I'm looking for yen weakness. Maybe long term, I'm still a little bit up in the air with a few of them. But CAD yen expecting more upside. If I go take a look at euro yen as well, that one's still very bullish. I do think we can see a push back to the high here. If I drop to the intraday time frame, still very, very consistent for all these high lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now looking at 7 somewhere. Yes, they talked about a couple of areas where we could see that, either the retest of this high, which we did get. I believe that was on Friday. Yeah, Friday we had a retest. We may see price come back and have a deeper test of that same area and bounce. Or we might have a deeper correction. I like this area here. Brief resistance, broke out of a lot of momentum, never came back to retest. So if price was to come back and retest that area, I do think that is a nice place for a buy. Again, back to the highs. And if you really want to stretch the trade, you've got the highs over there as well. But overall, looking for that next high low in one of these two areas. I think we do have some nice trendline confluence in that second level in particular. So that would be nice added confluence to come back and retest, find some higher lows in this area. But again, you can see I'm looking for the buys there intraday. Not necessarily suggesting that we're going to see the big swing to the highs all the way up there just yet. I'm not quite convinced. I think dollar yen's the only one that I'm convinced that we are going back to those highs. I can still see a world where euro yen does double top at these highs and sell off again. So I'll address that when we get there. But for now, I think from an intraday point of view, buys do look very good there. If I go over to pound yen, same situation. I like the buys here. In fact, we had a nice buy opportunity last week. I actually tested that level. I would say if price was to come back there again, that would be another nice place for a buy. Again, as you can see, the higher lows, very consistent. Looking for the next one. And again, lovely higher lows connected with a nice trend line as well. So I did say yesterday that if we were to get another sell, so something like this, and the big drop into that low, could see a nice buy form and a nice double bottom as well. So yeah, very bullish on these yen pairs. I do think more upside is likely the case. It's just about timing really, and whether we'll see the bigger pullbacks or not. And for pound yen, I do think we can. Oh, did not mean to do that. And for pound yen, I do think we can push back to the high here on the left at 199.5, 199.6, and see that next higher low. And the key thing about pound yen as well is that we did break structure to the left. This high has been taken out completely. So at the start of the month, I was looking for a lower high and a nice push down to keep up with all these lower highs, as we can see, but we never presented that. Price broke to the upside, and now taking out those highs, I do think will continue to the upside. So yeah, very bullish on pound yen as well, expecting more upside there too. Dark Sean, good morning. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, no movement as expected, really. Packing all up till January would be the best move. Now, yeah, I think in terms of finding any new trades, it's always going to be a little bit difficult now. Yeah, because everything is going to be a bit slower. I think if you are really trying to find a move, then it would have to be something very small intraday. But even that, market's not going to move much as well, and you're thinking about spreads, and it might not be worthwhile. So it's probably best to wait anyway in terms of finding new trades. I mean, I'm still keeping an eye on the swing trades I'm looking at. It's just they might take a little bit of a while to really set up. But yeah, you're definitely right there. We'll probably see a little bit of moves, but nothing to get too excited about. And you're probably better off anyway, waiting till the new year before finding any more trades really. And yeah, even for example, the pound yen opportunity I mentioned here, if we stay flat, it's probably going to take a few days and maybe even into the new year before we even see a move like that to get back down. Because you can see how flat we are there. We might continue that for the rest of the year, really. Of course, Christmas, the markets close, Boxing Day, and then Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday might not see much movement. And of course, New Year's Day, the market's closed again. And then, of course, you got second, and from then we expect the market to pick up. So second, third, the end of next week, and then of course the week after, probably see the market in full flow then. But yeah, at the moment, probably a little bit dry. But that is my take on pound yen. I'll go through a couple more yen pairs, and I'll take a look at XRP USD for you, Godfrey. So I did CAD yen, Euro yen, pound yen. We'll take a look at. I already did dollar yen earlier. I'll do Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, and Swiss yen too, if I can spell it. That is. There we go. So yeah, Aussie yen as well, looking for more upside. As I discussed a lot yesterday, a lot of rejection here to the downside. So I do think price is getting ready for a pretty big move up. If price was trending down, I would expect price to actually break through the lows here, but they didn't. Price broke to the upside, took up the highs there as well. So I am looking for a bit of a correction here for Aussie yen before strong move to the upside. I think in terms of a good opportunity, I would wait for price to break out because it looks like we're starting a bit of a range here as well. We broke out a really nice range over there. Looks like we've only broken out of that to get back into another. So I would suggest waiting for price to take out some highs and then looking for some pullbacks afterwards. Something like that could make sense because at least at that point, we've got clear higher highs, we've got clear momentum back in the market too, which is important. And then we can look for some retest and then look to follow that move up. So yeah, pretty bullish for Aussie yen. Again, intra-week, the next few days, I still expect yen pairs to be strong and yen, the currency, to be weak. And at least a retest of the range here as well. That's what I'm looking for price to get back into. And then maybe we go further as well, but we'll just stick with that because we could very much sell off from that same zone. But push back to 99.5 makes a lot of sense to me. In terms of New Zealand yen, same situation there as well. Overall, price is still very bullish. I do think we can still see more upside. We've got a big range here as well, which I think price has a good chance of coming back to retest. Didn't mean that. For price to come back and retest. Again, in terms of opportunities, still very tricky. I would wait for price to break the highs there first, then look for opportunities for the buy. Maybe a retest of this area. Again, to me, this looks like a range really. Equal highs, more or less, equal lows. I wouldn't want to get involved there either. So with New Zealand yen and Aussie yen, if we can break out their respective ranges, take up the highs, see some new higher highs, especially with some momentum, then some pullbacks and retests will make sense and some buys look good. Not my favorite yen pairs for the buys, the Euro yen and pound yen, which we just covered, and CAD yen as well. Looks a lot better for bullish opportunities. I wouldn't be looking at Aussie and New Zealand yen at least until we get the breakouts. So not as focused on them. Then, of course, in terms of CHF which I don't mind, I think this one's still a nice pair to look at. If we were to get a bigger pullback and retest this consolidation here, really strong move to the upside. I was looking at a lower high in comparison to this high, but again, that does not look likely anymore. So if we were to get a pullback, I would expect a high low to form and a push back to the highs there at 177. So yeah, very bullish on Swiss yen. Left behind a very nice area for some buys. Nice consolidation, really strong breakout. So if price was to come back and retest, see some higher lows, I think that's a really nice place for a buy and find some opportunities to take it back to the high there at 177. So as you can see, very bullish on these yen pairs, at least from an intraday level anyway. Um, I don't think, I don't know, my longer term bias is still on the fence because I can see things are shifting bullish with the yen pairs. But they haven't really done that on the higher time frames, and by higher time frames, I mean like the daily and the weekly chart. So it's not like it's invalidated my bearish long-term bias just yet. But at least in the 4-hour chart, which is where I take all my entries, things are definitely not looking bearish anymore. So I do think a bit more upside is on the cards. Okay, so can't even find good. Yeah, it's going to be dead. Darkish on. It's not going to be moving a lot, and taking any entries is going to be difficult either. Even if you get entry, it's going to be very, very slow. Sets a die. I hope I'm saying that correctly. What is up? Persian cover trade. Okay. If you create a ticket, in Discord, if you haven't got your account details yet, create a ticket in Discord, and you should get them. You should get them very shortly. But yeah, create a ticket in Discord if you haven't received your email. Also check your spam as well. If you haven't received it, because sometimes the email does go to spam. Okay, so if there's any requests, any pairs, let me know, and I will take a look at them. But the main pairs I'm looking at, it still hasn't really changed yet. Still pound CHF, still looking at see if I can find any additional entries for pound CHF, scale in, hopefully find some pullbacks on the breakout, and of course looking at longs on dollar CAD, longs on dollar yen, and hopefully some sells on some of the other CHF pairs as well if I can get some entries. But yeah, I'm not expecting too much momentum. Hey, what's up, more? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you are doing well. Last day for trading. Yeah, markets will look to close today. They do, of course, open up Boxing Day. So, if you're looking to trade, then I mean, again, it's always that period between Christmas and New Year's. It's going to be very dry anyway. So, if you look to close trades today, you can always pick it back up in the new year. Because if you pick it back up after Christmas, you're going to probably look to close them again before New Year's. So I'd watch out for that. But yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. But like I said, pound CHF is still my main focus. Only market I'm currently trading. Seeing some upside now. It's funny because a lot of markets are dead, but the market I'm trading is actually moving quite a bit. Pound CHF is quite moving quite a bit and not in my favor. So hopefully that can turn around pretty soon. I'm still in a bit of profit, so I'm not too worried about finding any entries, additional entries until we get the breakout. So I'm not really too stressed about it. My stop loss is break even as well. So hopefully I can find the breakout soon and then really milk the opportunity. But when you are looking at these bigger moves in the market, you do leave profit on the table. You do leave you do leave opportunity for price to go against you, which is the whole idea, because you're looking for big rewards. You're looking to maximize your rewards, minimize your losses. And if you're looking to swing trades, swing markets for long periods of time, you have to be able to sit on the trade and trust your analysis. Not that necessarily the trade will play out, um, but over the long run, that you're going to catch some big winners and it's going to make up for it. Do you recommend close trades today? It's up to you. It depends what situation. I'm not looking to close my pound seat chef trade. I'll look to hold it through Christmas. But again, it is context related, because I'm in profit here, so it's not a situation where I'm at a drawdown and I have the risk of price potentially gapping against me. There's not gonna be a lot of movement. It's not like it's a very busy period in the markets. So it's a situation where not a lot's going to happen over Christmas. So I don't expect crazy gaps, and it's nowhere near my break even. So in my situation, I would hold. If I was just in a trade and it was just kind of um, moving around my stop loss or moving around my entry, then I probably would close it, and then look to see if I can reopen after Christmas if it's still looking good. But in this case, there's not a lot of risk involved, so I'm just going to hold it. But yeah, it depends where you are, what situation you are with your trades. Yeah, there is no right or wrong answer really. It just depends how you want to manage your positions. Dark short only intraday trade that I'm interested in. CHFG was short. It didn't feel the imbalance yet. Okay, you're still looking for the downside move on Swiss yen. Yeah, I mean we have sold off a little bit, haven't we? We have seen a little bit of a pullback. We have seen a little bit of a pullback on CHF JPY. We have seen a bit of a pullback, but are you looking for a bit more than that? Where would your target be if you do get into any shorts here for CHF JPY? I mean, I do like the zone at 172.5. The market was to have a bigger retracement into that area. I think that would be a nice place for a buy, and some longs back into 177. I think that would be a nice place for an opportunity. But overall, yeah, I'm not so keen on selling Swiss yen because of all that momentum. I know the market needs to correct itself and balance itself, but I do think we'll like to continue that move. And if that's the case, that's the high expect price to push into. So I'd much rather look for buys there. But of course, if you're looking to try and fade that move and take advantage of the retracement, that makes sense as well. Um, More definitely, I definitely think my ideas will work. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you have confidence in your trades, which of course you should do. If you don't have confidence, you wouldn't take it in the first place. But if you have confidence in your trades, like I said, the risk is pretty minimal because it's not like it's like a weekend and maybe anything can happen at any time. But Christmas Day is probably not be a big news out. It's gonna be a very kind of quiet period in the markets. So when the market does reopen, the gap shouldn't be very big, very minimal if there is a gap at all on the pairs you are looking at. So I think risk is very minimal. And if you're confident with your ideas, you're happy with the risk, then I'd say go for it. Especially if you're looking at more of a swing trade. I think if you're very intraday and refined stops, maybe not the best because spreads will widen a bit as well, and you could get actually taken out for a very minor move. So if you got bigger stops, you're looking at a bigger swing trade, then yeah, I would hold. And like I said, if you're happy with the risk, confident in your trades, I don't see the need to close them. Okay, 173. Okay, so you're looking for roughly the same area. So yeah, I mean, if price was to push back into that 173 zone, I think that's a nice place for a buy. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't be looking at selling it. But of course, if it fits your plan, go for it. I'd I'll be more happy with the longs there. But then it could be a situation where you look to sell it to then buy it later on. More short euro yen, short gold open them 1 week ago. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, it's up to you, my man. It's up to you. I don't think there is necessarily a wrong or right answer here. Trading's a very, very personal thing. You know, it's very much up to the trade themselves if they want to hold or not. One person will hold, another person will close. Both make a decision, on what's right for them. But yeah, I'll be looking to hold my pound CHF trade. But yeah, I do like euro yen, I do like gold. But yeah, we probably will be moving sideways for pretty much all markets, to be honest, over this period. So it's not like you're going to hold the position and then your price is going to be being crazy. It's just going to be more flat. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish on euro yen though, at least intraday anyway. I think the bigger move for euro yen could still be to the downside. I'm still not quite sold on that just yet. When I look at the daily chart, I still think to euro yen that it could still be a big sell. If not at this high here, then potentially at this high there. So I'm still looking for potentially the big continuation of this drop, and then maybe the continuation of that. I'm not too sure what's your thinking behind the sells there. More you're looking for continuation of that move, sort of looking for price to continue down. I think that could be the case, but then when I look at the lower time frames for euro yen, like the hourly and below, things do look pretty bullish there. So I do think from an intraday perspective, there's a case where we do push down to see another higher low and keep bouncing up again. But then it could just be a short-term bullish move before a big swing to the downside. So that's kind of my thinking for euro yen and with a lot of the yen pairs as well. When I look at pound yen too, to me, it looks like we might see some short-term upside and push back to the high there at 199.6, and then potentially you might see a big sell there again as well. So yeah, pound yen, euro yen, very similar markets, of course, both giving me kind of intraday bullish structure of these higher highs and higher lows. But again, if I expand to the daily chart, I'm looking at pound yen and I'm saying, okay, we've had a really big drop here. Is this move just the correction of that? For a big continuation, I'm still kind of thinking of that possibility. I'm not quite sold just yet that we get back to the high. What would make me change my bias though is if I quickly go to the JPY basket, if the JPY basket was to break through this low and do it aggressively, then that would completely change my bias. A strong move like that, breaking the lows, tells me that we probably aren't going to push back to the high. Yes, we'll probably see a bit of a pullback at some point, but it'll probably just be form another lower high there. And what happened there with my mouse? There we go. So yeah, we probably will pull back, form another lower high, and keep falling, and come back to this low here. So yeah, with the yen basket, it's gonna be a very key situation where I watch what price does, and I do think we can have a big sell. I do think we can have a big sell here. So yen basket, if there is a break, then I will be pretty bullish on pound yen, but I'm not bullish just yet. Need to wait for a bit more information. Bubba, what's up? Bullish Aussie yen. Yes, kind of. I need a price to break the highs first. I'll take a look in a second. But I kind of am, yeah. Only one. Where's your Christmas hat? If I don't have a Christmas hat, I need to get one. That is poor for me. I should have got a Christmas hat. Should have got a Christmas hat. That's such a good idea. Well, there's always next year. There's always next year. Okay, so you're expecting that bullish move just be a pullback, and then you're looking for them to turn around in a big sell. And same with gold. Yeah, I mean that could still be the case. That could still be the case. If the yen basket does double bottom here, then yeah, I do think we can turn around and really reverse and probably push back to the highs. Same thing with pound yen as well. Push up back to the high sell. Same thing with CAD yen as well. We could definitely push back to the high and still have a pretty big sell. I'm looking at this resistance here. It's still being very critical. Might push there, retest that structure, and bombs away. We might have a really big move down. So yeah, I do agree with that. I'm still on the fence a little bit in terms of the long-term move. I'll see what happens as we do develop. But when I look at the lower time frames, things do look pretty bullish there. So I wonder if price is going to continue. So with the yen pairs, I'm not really looking to trade them as much right now. So I'll wait for them to develop. And if they do set up well, then yeah, I'll get back involved. I took some shorts in CAD yen, held that for about 3 weeks, I think, before I closed it, almost 4. So I don't mind getting back again and see if I can catch the big trade here. But yeah, when I look at the lower time frames, I do think we can see another move, but we'll see. We'll see. As long as you're trading your analysis, it fits your plan well, then just focus on that. But what's the funny thing is, because I'm looking at the CHF pairs and looking at the yen pairs, they both had that big drop in July, which is, if I go to Aussie, I'll take a look at Aussie yen for quickly, Bubba, because I just forgot about that. But I'll go to the CHF pair in a second. So yeah, with Aussie yen, I do expect some upside, but I'm not a big fan of the buy right now. I think, again, focusing more on the lower time frames, it does look like price is steadily pushing to the upside. We're creating new highs here. Looks like price is creating equal lows there as well. So if price was to have another big push to the upside, see a new higher high, then I would say, okay, we could form another higher low somewhere, and this could be a nice buy, continuing this structure here. So high, higher low, higher high, higher low, so on and so forth. So I do think Aussie yen is likely to push up. And also I say that because as well, looks like we're really struggling at these lows, a lot of rejection at these lows here, multiple wicks, really strong bullish engulfing candles as well. Momentum keeps shifting. So if this was going to keep falling, I would expect price to show us more bearish momentum in and not find so much trouble at the lows there. So yeah, with Aussie yen, I do think we can keep seeing upside, but I want price to break the highs first. I think at the moment we're at resistance. If anything, we could actually sell off a little bit. So I would not be looking to buy Aussie yen just yet. But if it was to go and break the highs, something like that, then yeah, I think buys look good after. But why I do expect it to break to the upsides because of all the rejection we're seeing at the lows here. So yeah, I am bullish, but I wouldn't be looking to buy now. Looks like we're still struggling at resistance. So I'll definitely watch out for that. But yeah, as I was mentioning with the Swiss pairs and the yen pairs, both of them had the massive drops in July. Both of them absolutely tanked in July, August. And it looks like the CHF pairs, we actually are seeing a continuation of that. Looks like we actually are seeing a continuation of that drop. So this is Aussie CHF, for example. Looks like we are steadily selling off. If I go to New Zealand CHF, it looks like we are seeing a continuation of that as well. Really big sell-off, correction, continuing back down. Yeah, pound CHF, no, not yet, but I'm expecting it to happen. Hence why I'm shorting it. Big sell-off there. I'm looking at this as a correction for push down. And of course, we take a look at some yen pairs, for example. It's the same situation as well. If we go to CAD yen, big push down, and then this kind of looks similar to what we've been seeing with the CHF pairs, very slow up move, very corrective. So that's why I do think that move still has a possibility of forming. Yeah, so that's kind of my thinking with the yen pairs in relation to the CHF pairs. If the CHF pairs are going to have that big sell, I think the yen pairs will follow suit, but we'll see. Sometimes they do opposite things. Yes, Holy One, installing pound CHF. I am break even at the moment. I did lock in my stop loss there. I haven't taken any partials yet. I'm looking for price to come back into this support level here at 1.115. before looking to take any partials, because basically the plan is I'm looking to trade a range, then I'm looking to trade a swing. So the range is from the high here to the low, and that's when I look to take my profits. And we came very, very close on Friday. Unfortunately, just missed it by a few pips there. So that was pretty unfortunate. If we wicked a little bit lower, I would have looked to take some partials there, but we didn't. So yeah, we're going to see if that can push back down, back to the low of the range. So I'm looking to trade the range, and then hopefully if you can see the breakout of that, then I'll look to trade the swing, which is back down to that swing low. But yeah, still in pound CGF, I will look to hold. I don't see any reason why I should get out of the trade. Yes, the market's closed. Yes, everything is going to be a bit stale, but I'm in a bit of profit here. My stops are moving to break even, so there's no risk on the table anymore. I don't see any kind of big reason why I should exit the trade. Good to hear. Well, yeah, I mean, probably best time to get to work is probably after the holidays set to die. I mean, yeah, I mean, happy to have you working with the Elevating Traders firm, of course, but the market's going to be stale. We're going to be closed from Christmas as well. So yeah, in terms of finding some good trades with some nice volume and some nice moves, it's probably best to wait until the new year. So what you could do is use this time to prep, make sure everything's in order, make sure your plan's in order, how you're going to trade, your entries, your exits, your management, what you're looking to do, what markets you're looking to trade, how you want to trade it. So make sure all your plans in order, everything is in order for you to thrive. And then in the new year, once momentum picks up again, you can find some nice trades. Because it's not that you can't find nice trades now, it's just that when you do take a trade now, price is probably not going to get moving. And yeah, so it'll be a situation where you're sitting on a trade, especially if you're trading intraday as well. You have to take into consideration swap costs and spreads will widen, so it's just not the best time really. So yeah, use this time to prep. Of course, relax, spend time with family as well. But yeah, I would recommend getting involved in the new year to really get going. But I love the excitement though. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound CHF. I'll go through some of the crosses. Not really looking at them personally. I mean, there's a couple which could really get going. If I start with some of the CAD pairs, actually. So yeah, New Zealand CAD, I do like this one because we recently broke structure to the downside. We took out this low, so that to me is the green flag that says, okay, this bullish structure has met its match. We're no longer going to be trending to the upside anymore. And now I'm expecting price to break lower. So I'm expecting a push back into this area here at 0.79605. And I mean, possibly a lot lower, because when I do expand to the weekly chart, I'm looking at the major swing highs here, and there's so many of them, and we keep staying very consistent with them. And in my book, this to me over here looks like the next lower high in that sequence. So I would expect us to break the low there and eventually come back to this low, but we may have a bigger pullback first before that happens. So I'm not gonna look for this low outright, still pretty far away as well. So I think a push back to this area makes the most sense, but I do expect it to break. So that's the main point I want to drill home. So yeah, very bearish from New Zealand CAD. I would say the next best opportunity would be some pullbacks on the 4-hour chart. And this is our last lower high. So if I was to map that out, swing to the downside, that's our low. So I would suggest some pullbacks back into this area look good to retest the high. And of course, Bob's your uncle, you got some nice shorts there. Nice confidence around the 0.5, 0.618. We did consolidate a lot in this zone before a strong drop. So let's see if we can come back and retest that and see the next low high in this sequence. And hopefully find some entries which we can sit on, at least swing it back into the low, of course, but really hopefully back down to 0.79. So yeah, that's really the plan. Really the plan with New Zealand CAD. I think most of the CAD pairs I'm pretty bearish on. Um, maybe not so much pound CAD and euro CAD. They're looking a little bit interesting. I'll go through them in a moment. Hey, what's up, Lauda? Christmas Eve. Yes, it is. Very busy. Just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you as well. Hope everything is doing good with you and your family. But yeah, it is a busy period, isn't it? But yeah, New Zealand CHF, New Zealand CAD, sorry, is what I'm expecting to see from that. More downside looking at shorts. Aussie CADs on the radar as well, but not looking as clean as New Zealand CAD, because the main thing with New Zealand CAD, which separates it from Aussie CAD, is the break of that low there. The break of 0.81135. A break of a very key daily swing low does set it apart. Aussie CAD is kind of slowly correctively moving down. Hasn't really broken through any key areas, at least swing points anyway. It has broken through a nice trend line, this ascending channel, which is why I'm again bearish on this one. Looking for a big move to the downside back to the lows. But yeah, it just doesn't look as good as New Zealand CAD. So that's why I'm not as focused on this one. But again, very similar pairs. They do the same thing as well. So in a situation where I'm looking at Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, or Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, or Aussie CHF, and New Zealand CHF, it's always a situation where I'm looking at them both. I'm trying to see, okay, because they're so heavily correlated, I want to see short opportunities on both of them. And then I pick the better one. Aussie CAD is giving me short bias because it's just broken out of that channel. Looks to me that we are forming another lower high, just like we've done, over here. The equal highs over there. This to me looks like potentially another lower high there as well. So I do think we can get that big sell. So they both look bearish to me, Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, but New Zealand CAD set up a lot better. So then I just focus on that one and take my trades there if I do get one. But yeah, because Aussie CAD's not looking great, no need to try and force anything here. Then of course you've got pound CAD and euro CAD. And of course, pound and euro have been a big contrast compared to Aussie, New Zealand. Aussie and New Zealand, they've been very bearish, Aussie and New Zealand dollar, whereas euro pound being a bit more bullish. Hence why you've kind of got euro CAD and pound CAD trending up. And as we just saw, Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD have actually been trending down, despite them being CAD pairs. But yeah, pound CAD's been pushing up. So with pound CAD, again, I'm kind of looking at a sell, but everything is still looking pretty bullish. I know price is still respecting this area. So I did suggest some short-term sells look good back into the low, because if I scoot to the weekly chart very quickly, you can see you've got a lot of rejections up here. So as you can see, pretty much every week, we've seen a wick into this zone, especially last week's candle. Very aggressive wick, tried to close above but failed. And again, looks like this week as well, we're leaving another wick into that zone. So yeah, with pound CAD, I do think we can get another sell opportunity. I would only be looking at shorts in this zone here. There's a nice head and shoulder opportunity here as well. Let's see if we can push to the upside a little bit further, retest the zone, and then get a nice sell back into that low there. So yeah, pound CAD, I do have a short bias, really strong resistance holding. I wouldn't look for such a big swing with pound CAD because, like I said, it's still very bullish. Still trend to the upside very well, and there is still a zone above us which we could go and test. This weekly zone up here, I haven't quite tested that area just yet, so there's still a reason for us to spike a little bit higher before maybe a big reversal. But for now, I think as long as we can hold that resistance, shorts look good. At least just minor reactions, not necessarily looking for price to sell off a cliff. Could happen, but I wouldn't bet on that just because the trend is still up and still seeing convincing momentum to the upside. Lauder holding US 13 as 100 long to 2025. Nice. We'll come back in 2025. Okay, take care. Appreciate it, Lauder. Appreciate it. Have a good one with your fam. But so yeah, we'll go through some indices. We haven't gone through the US indices yet. But yeah, pound CAD, I can see some short-term sells, but The long term is still very difficult because of the trend still being very strong. And EuroCAD as well has seen some nice upside. I don't mind the buys here with EuroCAD actually. Still seeing very consistent higher highs and higher lows. So I do think we can still see another push to the upside. So if price was to push back down into the low here, retest the low, I think that's a nice place for a long, and take it back to the high there at 1.5166. So look at EuroCAD overall. It's a very sideways pair. Maybe there's a slight uptrend to it, but I'm not quite convinced. Overall, very, very flat. So I do think there's a good chance we push back into the high over here. Big spike to the downside, retesting some support on the left here. It looks like price is just going to slowly nestle back to the highs there. So in terms of finding the next long, I would suggest if price was to come back, respect that low, that'd be a nice place for an entry. Stops below, and again, look and see if we can take it back to the high. Risk reward looks good there too. Makes a load of sense looking to follow that structure. And of course, we had that big kind of V-shaped pattern reversal over here. Big sell-off, big recovery. This to me looks like that correction, kind of a big inverse head and shoulder pattern. And now we're seeing continuation to the upside. So yeah, with EuroCAD, looks like it's likely to push higher up as well. But just, yeah, not a big fan of the pair. Still very kind of congested, not really seeing much momentum or a trend. And that's really what I'm after. I'm focusing on trending markets, not seeing any opportunities there. Are you taking a short counter trend trade? Which pair are you talking about? Let me know. I'm not looking to jump into any more trades at the moment. The pairs I'm looking at, dollar yen, dollar CAD, pound CHF, New Zealand CHF, and Aussie CHF are not quite set up for me yet. So there is no trade for me to take. Like I said, I'm managing pound CHF at the moment, but there's nothing new for me to take. So yeah, I'm not taking any type of trend at the moment, but I do look for trend and counter trend opportunities. More specifically pro trend, but sometimes there are some nice counter trend, especially when, let's say, we've got a larger trend to the downside, and then we've got like a prolonged uptrend on the lower chart. I will try and go against that counter trend to anticipate the longer trend continuing. So at the same time, it's pro trend, it's also counter trend as well. But yeah, I will look for both pro and counter. It really does depend on the situation. But I'm not looking for any trades to take at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with EuroCAD. And if you take a look at some of the crosses, I think these guys have been pretty bullish. Not a lot of movement since we last spoke, but again, a healthy correction there for pound Aussie. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, you can see a nice little consolidation there. Looks like price has a nice opportunity to potentially break out that range and see some opportunities for a nice buy. I think a solid breakout like that presents some nice buying opportunities back to the high and call it a day there. Of course, if we start breaking lower, things get a bit more awkward. It could just be a deeper retracement before pushing back up again. But I would suggest that the better trade, the more high probability one would be breaking the high, then look for some pullbacks after that for some longs. So yeah, pound Aussie still very bullish. I know we've taken out some major highs, so I'm still weary of potentially a big drop. I think if we do go and break structure, aka take out this low here, then I'll be sold, and yeah, I'll be looking at some selling opportunities. But for now, still respecting structure. Momentum still looks good. And if you do see a strong break of that range to the upside, I would expect price to keep pushing up higher. So yeah, still pretty bullish on pound Aussie as well. And I do think a push back to 2.0307 looks good. But I would wait for that intraday breakout first. If we go take a look at its partner in crime, pound NZD. So yeah, similar situation with this one, starting the daily chart. So yeah, still looking very bullish. Again, we've taken out some major highs here as well, but drops the 4-hour chart. Seems some nice bullish swings, as we can see. High, low. Oh, missed that completely. High, low, another high, low, another higher high. And again, looking at the next higher low, and this could be the next higher low. We're a little bit stale right now, as expected. That could be the next high low. We did talk about the retest of the high. Here's a nice place for a long. So again, if I was to whip out the fib from the low here, drag that to the high. I think this is still the number one place where I would want to buy pound NZD from. As you can see, some solid resistance there. This will be turn support. You got the 0.618, so some really nice added confluence. So what I would suggest with pound NZD is that if you do break lower, I wouldn't mind a retest of this area, maybe some nice double bottoms, strong bullish engulfing wicks. That could end up being a nice buy. But also, if we do break to the high of the range as well, just like pound Aussie, which we just mentioned, I feel like that could be a really nice buy as well, and the retest of the high there too. So yeah, for both of them, pound NZD, pound Aussie, momentum is still very much up, still seeing a trend here, pretty much on the weekly, daily, 4 hour, major time frames are pointing up. So from an intraday basis, I think buys look really good, and more upside there looks good as well. But yeah, I would suggest the better trade for pound NZD would be if we can break down first and come back to retest the same level at 2.20852. And of course, try and find some buys off the back of that. If not, if you do break the range to the upside with a strong close, I think that's a decent buy as well. But as long as we don't take out this low here, still very bullish on pound NZD and looking for that to keep pushing. Short buy New Zealand CAD? No. I'm not taking any short. Like I said, I'm not looking to take any new positions at all. The pairs I'm looking at, dollar yen, dollar CAD. If I quickly go over it, dollar yen. The buy I'm looking at for dollar yen is a retest of this zone here, and we're nowhere near that. Dollar CAD, the buy I'm looking to take is a retest of this zone down here. We're nowhere near that. Pound CHF, I'm looking to take an additional sell on the retest, breaking retest of this low here, which again, we're nowhere near that. New Zealand CHF, looking at a pullback for this one. I haven't actually gone through the price action here, but I am looking for something like this. Retest of the lows here. Next lower high. Some shorts there. And again, not far away, but we're not testing that area. And Aussie CHF, looking at a big sell for this one as well, but I need this one to break further first, and then I'll look for some shorts. And again, maybe in the retest of that low there. So those are like the 4 or 5 opportunities which I'm looking to get involved in. Everything else not quite there for me. Again, I'm looking for the best opportunities I can find to take trades. New Zealand CAD, not interested in the buys. Like I said, I do like the sells, but it's not my number one opportunity. If I can take a trade in any of those pairs I just mentioned over New Zealand CAD, I would. But this is the only move I would be interested with New Zealand CAD. We've just taken out some major lows there. Yes, it's a nice place for a buy because it's coming back into some support. Looks like we're stalling there. So it could be a nice buy. But again, it's not the best time to be looking to take any trades today anyway. Probably want to take a trade and close it today, but then even then, so you're not going to see much movement. But yeah, still pretty bearish on New Zealand CAD. I do think, yes, we'll see a short-term buy because I'm expecting retracement. So if you're looking to take advantage of retracement, yes. But I think the bigger move is the downside. So that's really what I'm more focused on. But yeah, it's a nice place for a buy, I do admit. And could see a push. But again, Christmas Eve, you're not going to see a lot of momentum. Market's closed tomorrow. I think if you wait till the new year, maybe the trade's gone. But if the market's still there, it'll be a much better time to get involved. Andre, pound USD. Okay, let me finish going through some of the crosses and then I'll go back to pound USD for you. So I did pound NZD, pound Aussie. Let me go through Euro Aussie and Euro NZD, and then I'll go take a look at pound USD. So Euro NZD still consolidating there. Not a lot of development since we last spoke. I think we're still trading at the top of that range there. So if I drag this across, yeah, it looks like price is still retesting the high there. So if we do get a break of the high, I do think price can skyrocket all the way to this level here because I'm looking at pound NZD and I'm looking at Euro Aussie, which are very similar markets to Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, of course. And both of those pound pairs are flying high, taking out highs, and I do think Euro NZD could follow suit. However, of course, we need to break structure first. We need to be trading well above resistance here. If we are going to keep pushing, and then we can talk about some pullbacks afterwards. Otherwise, it doesn't make too much sense to buy into these areas. So yeah, with UNSD, I do think a breakout is likely. Let's wait for it to happen, and then we can talk about some pullbacks after. The one I like better out of them is definitely Euro Aussie though, because this has seen a nice break of some daily resistance not long ago. We've taken out a structure here. We've kind of broken out of this very slight bearish channel here. So if I clone this and bring this to the downside, you can see we had somewhat of a bearish channel, which is broken after this very aggressive triple bottom pattern. And now I would be looking at a push back to the high, all the way up here at 1.7. So I do have a very bullish bias for Euro Aussie. I do think we can see a lot more upside here. However, of course, we want to see some pullbacks first. A nice retest of this zone here would be nice. Retest this level, find the higher low, and of course, on our way we go. And that's what I'll be looking at for Euro Aussie. I think this looks a lot better than UNZD because number one, we've broken through structure well. We've got a really nice uptrend, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. And then again, looking for a push back to the highs there at 1.7. So yeah, very bullish on Euro Aussie. I think it's the better pair. And again, looking at pound Aussie, pound NZD, bullish. Euro NZD could be bullish if it breaks the high. Euro Aussie looks bullish. So the bias, the correlation is pointing up. So there's a good chance that does continue. So it's nice to have all pairs pointing in the same direction. I'll go take a look at pound USD now for Andre. So yeah, pound USD, I do have a pretty bearish bias on this one. I'm looking for a push back into the swing low here. Does not look like that double bottom is going to hold, and we're going to reverse. I'm very bullish on USD as well, so I'm going to be bullish on dollar. There's a good chance that pound US dollar does sell off. But what I would suggest is waiting for this support level here to break first, because if we are going to continue to the downside, let's break underneath that low. That will be the real green flag that says, okay, we can short. And then, yeah, we can start talking about some shorts back into the low there as well. But you can see the lower highs, the market's been very consistent with them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at number 6 underneath that area. And yeah, as long as we can keep that up, there's a likely chance we do keep pushing. But of course, that break there might not happen until next week or the week after. The market is a little bit flat now, but it is still consistent with these lower highs. And like I said, if USD is going to be strong, pound USD is probably going to be weak. So I'll be waiting for a break like this and look for some shorts underneath. And then, of course, we can see that push into the low there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound USD. And of course, with the dollar, looking at literally the exact opposite. These are the two opportunities I'm looking at, either the pullback and retest this zone here. Got some really nice confidence. You've got the 50% on the fib. You've got that consolidation there where we spent a few days before a really strong break just after the interest rates were released. And then, of course, we do have some intraday levels here as well. So if we were to break, could be some retests and continuations, of course, sells in euro. But if you're looking for the swing bias, you want to see a bigger pullback, preferably towards this zone here, 107.2. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with USD. Okay, no worries, Hurdy One. Appreciate it, my man. See you on the other side. Take care, my man. At least spend some time with the fam. Take a break from the charts, because charts not going anywhere. Markets will be closed on Christmas Day anyway, so no fun to have anyway. But yeah, have a good one, Hurdy One. But yeah, with USD still very bullish, and do expect that to continue. And hopefully there can be some really nice trades next year, because if this is going to continue, I do think there'll be a really big breakout. And if there's going to be a really big breakout, that means we could be talking about push to 113. Yeah, as I keep saying. But if we do see that breakout, push to 113 could be a massive move. So yeah, we'll keep a close eye on that, because of course my focus will be a lot on euro, which we're looking to do the exact opposite opposite of that, of course. Break through the low here, and then a push all the way back down to this low, which is a colossal move. But we'll get more into that in 2025, because at the same time, we can still very much bounce at this area, and I can start talking about some buys again. If price comfortably comes back above that level, there is no breakout to talk about, and we could very much turn around. And equally so, there's a massive level in the monthly chart, which we've got to break through too. It's not only just that level there, it does stem a lot further back from this area here too. This is a massive level of support which we need to clear too. So I need price to really break through these zones, both of them, 1.04 really, and then that will open the door to the lows there. But we'll get into that next year. We're not going to see that momentum on Christmas Eve, most likely not anyway. So in terms of the intra-week moves, intraday moves, still very bullish USD, bearish USD majors. And I'd say dollar CAD is my favorite at the moment, because dollar CAD's cleared major resistance out of the way, so I like the buys. I actually like the intraday buys as well. Price was to come back and retest this area here too. I think that's a nice place for a buy, see a pullback, and again, expect more upside. But anyway, let's go through some of the other crosses, Euro, pound, and Aussie, New Zealand dollar. And then we'll go through some C-check pairs, which I didn't cover, and we'll go through some indices as well. Because I was meant to go through them earlier, but I completely forgot about it. Anyway, Euro, pound, again, still a nice area where we could look to reverse from. As I keep mentioning, that monthly zone, again, leaving behind a pretty big wick. We've got 7 days left before this monthly candle does close. Does it leave a big wick? I think it does. Of course, we'll wait till the monthly candle does close before cementing that as a fact, because we could still close pretty bearish. But if we close the doji, anything how we're looking now, as we can see with other wicks, previously, there's a good chance that we do push back up again. So I do think there's a big move to be had for Euro pound still. A big move to the upside. Just have to be patient. We're at an area where price tends to reverse. So if we can keep that up, there is that opportunity for a really big move to the upside. Drop to the 4-hour chart. Of course, the market is still bearish. We're still seeing consistent lower lows and lower highs. But I do think we can get ready for a really big move here. So at the moment, nice to the bottom. A slight indication that things are turning around, but really I want to see structure break to the upside. Let's start breaking through some highs, and then let's start putting in some higher lows in consecutively. So if price can push up, higher low, push up again, I'll be more than happy to look for the next higher low and start attacking to the upside back to these areas. And again, if we are going to bounce at this zone, we could really fly, right all the way back to these areas here too. So if the market is going to reverse, in terms of targets, we don't have to be stingy necessarily. Of course, I would manage trades. Euro pound is a very choppy pair as well. But if we are going to reverse from that monthly zone, there's a long way for us to bounce into. If we go to the monthly chart, you can see prior bounces from these areas, more or less take us back into this kind of territory. Each successful bounce we've had takes us back into there, back into there, back into there. So, of course, I don't expect people to hold the trade all the way that way, especially in a pair like Euro pound. But there's a possibility for a big move and a move to that wick zone I just mapped out is a pretty reasonable move. Not expecting too much from the market. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for Aussie, for Euro pound, sorry. In terms of Aussie New Zealand dollar, I like the swings. We're seeing very consistent higher highs and higher lows. We've got a really long-term trend line here as well. If I connect the dots here too, expand to the daily chart. No, that is the daily chart. Expand to the weekly chart. You can see we've got the high low over here. Got another one over there. Second over there. Third, a fourth. I'm looking for the fifth. And possibly another big push to the upside there too. So overall for Aussie New Zealand dollar, I think slowly the market is getting ready for something like this. But again, that could take a while. So I'm not going to look at anything like that in terms of a big swing trade. I think, yes, buys look good here, but I think I'll be looking to take profit at some zone somewhere. I think I won't try and stretch the trade too far, because you have to take into consideration how long the trade will last. The great thing about yen pairs, and sometimes CHF pairs when the climate is right, the great thing about yen pairs is that if you do swing them, especially the short side of things, if the trade does play out, you can catch some really big swings in a short space of time. So it actually makes sense to swing trade them, because you can achieve 5, 6, 7R, and you might only have to wait a week or two. And that's really healthy in terms of you swinging like Aussie CAD. If you want to achieve something like that, especially on the higher time frames, you could be waiting multiple months potentially. So then it becomes not as appetizing to swing trade a pair like Aussie CAD, or at least not swing trade it for as a big of a move. You can still swing the trade for a few days or a couple of weeks, but you're not going to catch your 5+ R most likely, or not consistently. If you're looking for 5+ R, the yen pairs are really where it's at. Sometimes the CHF pairs too. And a pair like Aussie New Zealand dollar, you're looking to catch those big moves, be prepared to wait a while. So again, if I can catch a nice bounce here, I know we can see some upside, or a good chance at least to see some upside, but it won't be a situation where I try and swing it back to the high. If I calculate how long this last swing it took from this low to that high there, it took us about 77 days. So that's a 2.5 months ish. And we don't get a lot of pips either. 2.5 months for 300 pips. You can get that in a couple of days on the yen pair. So take that into consideration. But yeah, Aussie New Zealand dollar, I like the buys down there, so we'll keep a close eye on for that. In terms of the other CHF pairs we didn't mention, I think it's only really Euro CHF we didn't talk about. We really mentioned all the others. Again, Euro CHF still pushing up here. Might see a bit of a double top form, which could be a nice short. I'm still looking at Euro CHF taking out these lows. As you can see, we've been very consistent with them. Took out the lows there, took out the lows again. We've got the lows here, which I think price has got a good chance of spiking towards. Dropping down to the 4-hour chart. Looks like price is slowly pushing up. Could see price come back, retest the high there, and get a nice little sell from that, and a push back down again. So yeah, with Euro CHF, the key thing I'm looking at is how consistent we are with the lower highs. And the market has been very consistent with that. One over there, second there, third, fourth, fifth, and potentially number 6 over there as well. And of course, if that is number 6, then you expect the price to push back down to the wick low and go and take that out too. So very bearish in Euro CHF, and pretty bearish across the board with the CHF markets. I like that correlation as well. I kept a close eye on that when I did take pound CHF. If every other CHF pair looks like it's pushing down too, there's a good chance pound CHF will sell off too. Of course, things can change, but at the moment, CHF overall is still pretty weak, even though maybe we're seeing some weakness at the moment in terms of CHF currencies. But yeah, Euro CHF looking at a big move there. And if you go to the indices, so US 30, we talked a lot about this one past couple streams. So again, US 30, we had a big break of structure. So for this one, I am looking at a move to the downside. Whenever we break structure, especially with the indices, I do think a bit of a counter trend does form. I did suggest this area here is a nice place to wait for some shorts. So if price can come back, retest that same zone, I think that's a nice place to start looking for some sells and a really big move to the downside. Again, if I expand, you can see overall very bullish market, but I wouldn't be surprised if now after this big bullish run, we do a bit of a pullback now, and we see some lower lows and lower highs creeping in. Of course, eventually we're going to see a higher low again, take up the highs and continue. But it's about where does that higher low form? I'll whip out the fib from the low to the high. There is that possibility we do come back into this territory before we do see the next time real buy step in the next major higher low form, maybe around 37K. But looking at the 4-hour chart, looking at that breaker structure, I think the sells there around 43,400 make a load of sense. Drop to the hourly time frame. You can see you had a nice spike. Probably got some early sellers just with stops above the high there. Could see a push, take them out, and then a nice sell. So yeah, I like the shorts here with US 30. If I go over to US 100, this one didn't really break structure because we are still respecting that low. But again, judging off that big sell there, I'm not as confident that I do expect NAS just to make it back to the high. Like nothing just happened. It was a very aggressive sell. So I would be careful with targets with this one. But then again, we're still respecting structure. Came back into a nice area of resistance, which turned into support. Nice rejection there. I think if price was to come back down again, I think the buy still look good. But I would just be careful with targets. I would say if you were to form a double bottom, I would definitely recommend taking some profits at the highs here. And if we do continue, great. We get back to the highs, great. But I would look to lock in gains because this is not your usual retracement. We don't normally sell off that heavily. So I would be careful of that. But it's a nice pullback into a nice area. I think we hit the 0.618. Yeah, as we pinch that area there too. So more upside for NAS, but be careful. We do have the possibility of forming that lower high and selling off. And same thing with S&P, although this one did just about break structure as well. So again, I am looking for a lower high to form. Maybe it forms at this area. Maybe we slowly push up, put lower high in, get a nice sell and see some downside. I do think it's coming up to a time where maybe the indices could be looking at some bigger corrections, some bigger retracements, and a big push down. All right, take care, more. Appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us. Really appreciate it, man. Merry Christmas to you as well. See you in the new year. Take care. Have a good one, man. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at with S&P as well. Nice break of structure. I do think a lower high can come into the market, and overall just see a bigger pullback. Because let's not forget, yes, the indices are very bullish, but we are still due a bigger pullback of this move, just like we eventually got a bigger pullback of this move here. Those bigger pullbacks happen. This one just missed the 50 there. But you can see that bigger move had the pullback, and I think we're going to see another big pullback soon. Maybe not as big. It might just be a smaller correction like this, and then price flies off again. That could be the situation. I think if we draw another fib from this low to that high, we might see a correction of that. So maybe a push back into this area. We've got the 0.5, 0.618. So 5,600 makes a lot of sense. Maybe if price becomes very bearish, there's the possibility for this pullback there as well. And then the buy. I think this one makes a bit more sense here. But yeah, I do expect more upside for S&P longer term, but shorter term because of the break of structure, I do think we can have a bit of a sell-off there. So I'll keep an eye on that range there for some shorts. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at. Like I said, my main focus really is going to be dollar CAD buys if we get the bigger pullback, dollar yen buys if we get the bigger pullback. Of course, managing pound CHF at the moment. So we'll see how that goes in a bit of profit. Stops still at break even, so no really risk on the table. But the plan is to see if I can get some additional entries at the retest of that low. New Zealand CHF, I really like this one as well. I don't mind getting involved with this one because my pound CHF is break even. So although I'm getting into another CHF pair, there's no real risk in doing so. So I don't mind getting involved. And then with New Zealand CHF, I do like this one back to the lows here, the wick low, all-time low. I think there's a good chance we do get there again as well. So we'll keep a very close eye on New Zealand CHF and its partner in crime, Aussie CHF, which of course is a very similar pair too. But I need this one to break through first. Then I can start looking to keep up with the lower highs. One over there, one over there, second over there, third to potentially a fourth somewhere. And of course, Bob's your uncle. So that's really where I'm at. And of course, it's going to take some time for these to develop, so no rush. I probably won't take any new trades until the new year anyway. Yes, the market will be closed tomorrow, so you can't even find some trades even if you wanted to. But yeah, again, this period between now and the 1st is going to be a little bit dry anyway. So especially if you're intraday, I wouldn't suggest looking to do anything really. Take the time off to reflect, plan for the new year, and then go again after the 2nd. If you're swing trading, you can probably get away with some entries, especially if you've got bigger stops. You can stomach a bit more kind of sideways price action and eventually waiting for momentum to pick up. But even then, might even be best to wait for the new year anyway with swing trades too. But yeah, the market will be closed tomorrow, so I won't be live tomorrow. But guys, I do really appreciate you streaming. You streaming? I'm on streaming. I do appreciate you guys tuning in, saying hi, spending some time on Christmas Eve with me. But hope you do have a chance to rest, spend some time with fam, um, and take some time off the markets, because of course the markets will be closed tomorrow. So whatever situation, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, the market's closed. So just take some time off to relax a little bit, and the markets will be back in full flow very, very soon. But guys, really do appreciate you tuning in and tuning in and watching the stream. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Do appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. It does really help out. And of course, hit the bell too so you don't miss on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. The link to that is in the description below and also at the top of the chat. Definitely can't miss it. Chat with other traders, join discussions, chat with myself as well. And of course, you can learn a little bit more about Elevating Traders of the firm, and you can find your discount codes there as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go and check it out. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, I won't be live tomorrow. But have a great day, great Christmas if you celebrate. And of course, I'll catch you all in the next one.